Hello YouTube, King Charles back with another MCOC video. So I just dropped a video on Professor X on my channel. Go check it out. Man, his abilities and his synergy is crazy. So I can only expect nothing less of the same with Apocalypse. So let's go ahead and dive into his abilities and synergy breakdown. So first off, looking at his design, man, he looks absolutely amazing. I thought he was gonna have his like character design from Marvel Realm of Champions, but I guess they're trying to differentiate the two because the way he look in Contest of Champions is like a updated future Apocalypse, whereas in Marvel Realm of Champions he kind of looks like the original in Sabah Nur, like back in the day, or if you watched the movie uh, Rise of Apocalypse. So looking at his abilities now, all his abilities are based around this genetic enhancement, which stacks up to 4 times. Start each quest with 1 persistent genetic code. This becomes 2 if defending and 3 if defending on the final boss node. Knocking out a non-robot opponent grants 1 genetic code. Gain 2 at the start of the fight when fighting mutants. So that's, you could possibly start off with 3 genetic codes when you fight a mutant champion. At the start of the fight, gain 1 indefinite passive prowess for each genetic code. So when you fight a mutant, you gain 2 genetic codes. You already have 1 when you start the quest. So if you fight a mutant, you gain 2 more. That's 3 genetic codes. And you gain 3 indefinite passive prowess for each genetic code at the start of the fight. Increases special attack damage by 80%. So right there, that's already 120% special attack damage. At 3 plus genetic codes, you become stun immune while striking. And then at 4 plus codes, this is so crazy. When you strike into the opponent's block with a light attack, you inflict a stun debuff for 0.8 seconds, bro. The cooldown is 12, and that has no effect on well-timed blocks. So that you gotta make sure you get those well-timed blocks off if he have 4 plus codes. But that is so crazy, bro. Like, you can hit him with a light attack and finish up your combo because you inflict them with a stun debuff for 0.8 seconds. That is so crazy. Total molecular control. Now this is one of the best features about Apocalypse. He develops immunity to bleed, incinerate, and disoriented effects over 8 seconds while suffering from them. Once developed, these immunities persist for the entire quest. So if you were to take him into Act 5, Chapter 2, Quest 4, I believe that's the masochism path, the masochism level. And you know they have a caltrops path where you end up fighting like Hyperion and stuff like that. It's a caltrops path. So once you develop the immunity to bleed, you can literally do that entire path without having to worry about suffering from caltrops. That's crazy. Each time the opponent evades, gain a plus 10% chance to bypass the evade. This is not affected by ability accuracy reduction, and the chance to bypass evade persists throughout the quest. So once they if they keep evading you, you're gonna continuously gain a 10% chance to evade. You're gonna continuously evade a 10% chance, and then of course the opponent suffers 100% purifiability accuracy reduction. So when you fight people like Kingpin, Agent Venom, who constantly try to shake off debuffs and stuff like that, it's over with. They suffer the ability accuracy. And then if you fight people like Crossbones and stuff like that, they won't be able to shake off those buffs. Now, with his heavy attack, both hits inflict a bleed, dealing damage over 7 seconds. That's almost 800 damage over 7 seconds. And then it refreshes personal weakness, poison, concussion, and degeneration effects on the opponent. With his special attack, if the opponent is suffering from a damage over time effect, special attack debuffs trigger on activation and last 30% longer. So if you do a heavy attack and inflict a bleed on the opponent, then activate a special attack, the debuffs from the special attack they're gonna trigger on activation and then last 30% longer. Each hit deals a burst of about 600 physical damage for each personal weakness, poison, concussion, and degeneration. And I'll explain how you get those. So on the special attack 1, now it's based on how you end the attack. So if you do a 5-hit combo and end with a light attack, you inflict a weakness. If you end with a medium attack into the special one, you do a poison, which deals about 4,500 damage and reduces health by 30% over 25 seconds. Now, if you have 4+ genetic codes, you don't have to worry about it. Whether you end with a light or medium attack, it's going to activate both. Now, with his special attack 2, light attack, concussion. Medium, degeneration, which I think is much better because it's dealing almost 8,000 damage over 25 seconds. But of course, with 4 genetic codes, you trigger both the concussion and the degen. So you don't have to pick and choose which one you want to activate. On his special attack 3, all his debuffs that he inflict from his special attack 1 and 2 are re-triggered and gain plus 100% potency and is paused indefinitely. The potency increase does not stack multiple times, but once you activate a special attack 3, it literally pauses them indefinitely. So that means you're stuck. You're stuck with those debuffs the entire fight. So you're just going to be taking damage from poison and degeneration. If no personal weakness, poison, concussion, or degen effects are active, inflict 2 at random. These will not gain additional potency and will not be paused. So I say you definitely want to get somebody who can I say somebody like Ghost, who can phase off debuffs. Now, with the degen, let's see here, inflicts a non-stacking degeneration dealing. So I don't know if you can shake it off. It depends on whether it's a passive or it's a degen debuff. Hopefully it's just a debuff and she can phase out of it. Now, with his pre-fight and cross-fight ability, Horseman of the Apocalypse. Once per quest, if you have 4 genetic codes, you can spend all 4, which is it's kind of a bad thing, by the way, because you know what I'm saying, you'll have to get all 4 genetic codes back. But you can spend the 4 to place a cross fight on the next fight. So the next mutant that you bring into the fight becomes a horseman of apocalypse for the rest of the quest. Now, there's also a synergy with certain champions depending on, you know, the horseman synergy. So this is for any mutant right here. They gain the following abilities: 100% bleed resistance, an indefinite prowess increasing special attack damage by 50%, 30% offensive ability accuracy, go unblockable for 2 seconds when the opponent purifies a debuff, and goes unstoppable for 3 seconds when struck. His signature ability, basically what his signature ability does is, when he doesn't participate in a fight, he goes into a slumber mode. For every fight that you win, so that means anybody on his team, it doesn't have to be a mutant champion. For every fight that you win, when Apocalypse finally does come back into the fight, so let's say you fight with Apocalypse, and then you do 2 fights without using Apocalypse. You use another champion. And then on that 4th fight, you bring Apocalypse back into the fight. He regenerates up to almost 4,000 health. But the only thing is, it can only stack up twice. It can only stack up twice. So that means he'll regenerate about 8,000 health. So he's just like Professor X. Honestly, he doesn't need his awakened ability because, like, I mean, it can save you a few potions if you kind of bad or you get hit a lot. It can save you a few potions and stuff because you can just not fight with him and then regenerate the health when you fight with him again. So, I mean, it can be good, but he doesn't necessarily need the awakened ability. Now, moving on to his synergies. The first one with Apocalypse himself. He gains a 15% attack rating for each mutant on the team, excluding himself. So that's up to 60% attack rating for 4 other mutants on the team. Now, this is the one I was talking about. I had messed up on my last video with Professor X because I thought this synergy was with him, but it's actually with Apocalypse. With Kang, Mr. Sinister, and Cable, Apocalypse start the first fight in a quest with maximum genetic code. You start the quest with 1 genetic code. With this synergy, in the very first fight, you jump straight to 4 genetic code. That's crazy. So that means he'll have the full potency of all his abilities at 4 plus genetic codes. With Kane, every 4 seconds, Kane gains an indefinite fury buff greater than 20% attack rating. This ends with reaching 20 stacks of fury. Man, that is mad crazy, bro. That's dead ass, bro. That's crazy as hell. Kane doesn't have, like, no kind of utility. Like, he got a nice stun on his special 1 and 2, but he literally has, like, no kind of, like, just crazy damage or utility. So this would be interesting, like 20% attack for each fury buff, and he can stack up to 20 times. Now, I wasn't the best math student. I I wasn't the best math student in the world, but 20 times 20, I don't know. But Mr. Sinister, degeneration debuff gains 50% potency. And then Cable's Incinerate debuffs gain 150% potency. Additionally, heavy attacks now inflict degeneration on each hit. And stack limit is removed. That's crazy. Because when you heavy attack with Cable, when you heavy attack with Cable, it hits like 3 or 4 times if I'm not mistaken. Because I've played with Cable so many times. But yeah, when he heavy attack, it's like 3 hits if I'm not mistaken. And you can literally stack a DG debuff for every hit, and the stack limit is removed. I definitely feel like Kabam is going to nerf that synergy because, bro, if you do 3 heavy attacks, 3 hits per heavy attack, that's 9 degenerations right there. And then on his special attack 2, his Incinerate that he gives the opponent gains 150% potency. Excuse me. Bringer of Death 1 with Psylocke. Her basic attacks gain 30% chance to grant 1 side charge. If she becomes the Horseman, she gains 50% critical damage rating and 30% attack rating when striking the opponent with 0 power. So that's definitely interesting for her because Psylocke has like great burst damage on her heavy attack and like her special attack, especially the special attack 2. Bringer of Death 2 with Gambit. Each time a kinetic charge is gained, there's a 70% chance to gain an additional cooldown 0.8%. If he's a Horseman, per kinetic charge, grant 10% perfect black chance up to a maximum of 100. That's not really interesting to me because, that's basically all defensive purposes. If you want to waste that Horseman crossfight ability on Gambit just to get perfect block chance, I guess. Depending on Gambit's buff next month, I believe this synergy may have a little more use, but we're going to have to wait to see what Kabam does with him because he's not getting like an overhaul. He's basically getting like just a tune-up, so we're going to see how that works out. Now, this is a good one. Bringer of Death 3 with Wolverine. Personal bleeds have a chance based on critical rating to become critical bleeds, dealing damage based on critical damage rating. If you choose to make Wolverine a Horseman of Apocalypse, gain 30% critical rating and 40% critical damage rating. Bro, I have a 5-star Wolverine on my backup account, not on my main account. So if I was to pull a 4 or 5-star Apocalypse, bro, crazy. I would love to test that out. BOD4 with Archangel. Each hit of the heavy attack into a stunned opponent has a 10% chance to pause all neurotoxins for 3 seconds. And if you Horseman him, the neurotoxin stun duration is increased by 30%. So once the neurotoxin expires, the duration of that stun is increased by 30%, allowing you to get on way more heavies, build up bleeding poisons, and continuously stack up neurotoxin and just melt the opponent. Archangel already just OP as hell. Like, he's literally broken in the game. So this synergy just, oh my god, man. Impending Storm. Each hit of the heavy attack into a shocked opponent has 60% chance to inflict additional shock debuff, dealing 90% of modified attack over 8 seconds. Modified attack, 90%. That means with boost. over 8 seconds. If you horseman her, this is the classic storm. Shock effects last 50% longer, and heavy attacks refresh all shock debuffs on the opponent. Crazy. Crazy. With Storm X, after charging her Dermot Prowess buff, she has a 70% chance to trigger a passive prowess for each prowess buff that is already active. So if you have 5 prowess buff and you charge her dormant prowess buff by charging her heavy attack, there's a 70% chance she can trigger a passive prowess for each prowess buff, meaning she'll have 10 prowess buff plus the dormant buff, 100% prowess buff that's already active, and each one increases her special attack damage by 20% for 6 seconds, which literally means that's an extra 100% attack on her special 2. Plus, if you have 6 plus prowess buffs, is her special attack 2 is unblockable. So, unblockable, an extra 100% for each prowess on her. And then if you make her a horseman, she gains 30% critical rating and plus 20% prowess potency. Man, just thinking about the damage that she would do is crazy, dude. Like, dead ass. The damage that, like, bro, it is crazy. So look, man, those are the full abilities and breakdowns of Apocalypse. I can't wait till this guy come into the game. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe if you're new. King Chubbs out.